Last month, the Homeless Leadership Coalition released its latest point-in-time count, a look not just at the number of homeless living in Central Oregon, but who they are and why they're here. It should come as no surprise that the largest number set up camp right here in Bend. What will be surprising to many is why they are living in those rundown RVs, tents, and cars. If your first instinct is to blame it on substance abuse or mental illness, you would be wrong. You see, the overwhelming majority are out there for one reason: a run of bad luck. Perhaps even more shocking is the fact that thousands of sheltered Central Oregonians living paycheck to paycheck, who suffer a job loss, serious health issue, or even an increase in rent, could become part of the point-in-time count next year, as too many of us are living on luck.
License and everything, right?
Kids, family, house, car, truck, the everyday Joe here in town, living comfortably, and then separation happened and loss of business and then injury.
Chris Daggett knows what it's like to make ends meet with ease. He also knows what it's like not to have two nickels to rub together. A divorce followed by a back injury wiped out his life savings nearly 10 years ago and left him no choice but to enter the ranks of the homeless along China Hat Road.
Every day I didn't want to be out here. I wanted the look we get when we go into town or meet anybody and they find out you're living out here is just, it's not a good feeling.
The Bend community didn't like or accept what Chris had become, nor was it ready to accept that his fate would become the same as hundreds of others in Central Oregon over the next decade, finding their place at half a dozen homeless hotspots from Dirt World to outside Redmond, along Bend's Midtown corridor and the woods outside of Sisters. The point-in-time count included face-to-face interactions with more than 2,100 unhoused people from Warm Springs to Lapine and everything in between. It includes in-depth interviews with people living in shelters, along neighborhood streets, and even in the woods. It is a snapshot of a growing crisis in our towns and cities and a growing misunderstanding of who and why they're here. What is the greatest misperception about the homeless population in our Tri-County area?
I think the greatest misperception is that these people don't want to work, they don't want to be housed, they don't want help, that they move to this area to be homeless because we have resources, and that just is not the case.
Eliza Wilson should know she spent years as a teen and young adult having no home to return to. She is now an advocate with J-Bar-J Youth Services and participates in the point-in-time count every single year. She and her colleagues know who's out there and how badly most of them want to escape the dust and the day-to-day struggle. The point-in-time count found more than 80% of Central Oregon's homeless suffered one or more significant economic setbacks: the loss of a job, the rise of a rent, the shock of a medical bill. And few are just sitting back hoping their luck will change.
Those families who are experiencing homelessness are getting their kids to school. They want their children to have an education, and they're going to work.
Even here at Juniper Ridge along Highway 97, school buses stop here for the Bend Lapine School District to pick up and drop off students every single day. Advocacy personnel will also pick up individuals for doctor's appointments, for shopping, and that includes chemotherapy and dialysis, even end-of-life and hospice care. And all of this has given rise to the idea that because Central Oregon has been so good at assisting the homeless, that the floodgates have opened and more continue to come here. There has always been this idea that because many here in Central Oregon have lent a helping hand to the homeless, that more homeless have flooded into the area to take advantage of our charity. Truth is, 60% of the homeless have lived in Central Oregon for 10 years or more, some for their entire lives. Only 6% will tell you they arrived here in the last year.
These are just our neighbors. They experience the same challenges that people who are housed do, whether that is things like substance abuse and mental health, right? Like, we all have mental health needs.
Jessica Gamble could also be considered a native to the area, homeless on and off for a decade, a China Hat resident for much of that time. Today, she runs the Home More Network, focusing on the mental and emotional roadblocks that keep the homeless homeless. Do you feel like you've made a difference?
I think so.
Yeah.
In our first year of funding, we had 16 households get housed on their own accord without rental assistance by helping them to get out of survival mode and empower them into their next chapter.
It's a mental thing.
It's a mental thing.
It's a mental thing for the rest of us, too. Jessica's experience as an advocate and as one who lived in the woods herself taught her homelessness builds on itself, the stares, the comments.
Not everybody needs to be actively participating in outreach to make a difference. I think just offering somebody a smile, helping where you can, just being kind to one another is really the answer.
For the powers that be, your elected officials, the point-in-time count is a call for more housing. This is likely that parking area.
Yes.
And the 100 units will be back in here.
Yeah, 100 plus units. I mean,
coast to coast, the communities with the largest homeless populations are those with the least affordable housing. That's a lesson not lost on Deschutes County Commissioner Phil Chang.
if people who are in the middle incomes, are spending 50% of their income on housing in our community, that's unsustainable.
Just ask your local police officers, firefighters, teachers, and nurses, and just about every service worker smiling back at you today. Chang wanted to meet at this new development off Mount Washington and Simpson Avenue. Call it a new dent in an otherwise unaffordable city. 100 affordable rental units and another 30 affordable housing units on Bend's west side. This kind of partnership between the government and the private sector is the only way, according to Chang, to pull people out of homelessness faster than those who are entering it.
It's really important to understand that it's not that we're not making progress with people. There are hundreds of people who are exiting homelessness every year. The challenge is just that there are new people becoming homeless every year at a greater rate than we have people outflowing.
Chris Daggett is one of those pulled from the ranks of the homeless in the last year, and chances are, a year from now, he will have been replaced by half a dozen more. The shift from sheltered to unsheltered, the blink of an eye.
Happened all at once.
Yeah.
And I lived off my savings for a little while, but it doesn't last very long.
And he checked almost every box in the point-in-time count. A local for decades, socially stuck in place. A family man whose luck just ran out. Many homeless advocates will tell you a big part of what fuels the animosity toward the homeless is not so much about who they are, but what they represent. And what they represent is a picture of what living on luck looks like when that luck runs out. I'm David Clue, Central Oregon Daily News.